So I need to change out the blade on my 7x12 bandsaw. And I thought I would show this part real quick. Kind of a bad angle to see it at, but there's a big warp in it right there. And that's from cutting, you know, a small sliver piece, you know, and it goes down and jams between the bearing and that stuff and put that bend in there. But I thought while it was here, for those guys that aren't quite as familiar, when they talk about a variable pitch, you know, 10 to 14, not exactly sure what this one is. This might be like a 6 to 8 or something like that. You can see how, well, let's widen it up just a little bit here. You can see how right here the teeth are all tight together. You know, that's the higher pitch, and then there's 4, 5, 6 teeth here spread apart. You know, that's the bigger one. So, you know, that would be like the 10 teeth per inch, and then the 14 teeth per inch. And it cuts down a bunch of the noise and the harmonics. And if you look at it, well, let's see here. So if you look at it, you can kind of see how it goes deeper, comes up shallow, goes deeper. That actually causes an undulating wave in there as well. Not quite sure the effect of that on the cut. I would think it would help make it cut faster and stuff, but it's still kind of hard to see there. But there's a little wow right there. It kicks out a little bit. When you're cutting, that is definitely noticeable. There's one of the other big noise culprits too. See that missing tooth right there? That's because that's where the weld is. And if that weld isn't nice and flat and flush, and you can feel it in there, there's a little jump. That's part of what makes the blade thunk thunk, you know, every time it goes around. So better quality blades, it's a lot harder to find that, but I don't even remember where I got that blade from. Hopefully the one I put on next will be a nice blade. Alright, let's pop this sucker open and see what we get. I do have it unplugged. Just got to lift that up out of the way. You don't necessarily have to take it off, but when the door swings, you know, it's got to clear this stuff down here. I think you can see here the blade goes from being, you know, perfectly perpendicular to the rest of the machine here, then it gets twisted by these bearings top and bottom here. That's supposed, you know, that's adjustable so you can, you know, get a straight cut, stuff like that. So I find that the coolant is water-based, so it causes some rust. I found it, you know, caking everything up in the pan and that stuff. I gotta clean that out every now and then. Anyway, well, drop the tensioner down here nice and loose, and you gotta watch out here because these things like to pop out and get all nasty. And I'm gonna have to move that too. It's been quite a while since I changed the blade on here. There we go. Let's move it out of the way there just a little bit. Alright. You know, I could plug it back in and turn it on. The more people that watch this, the more people catch all the unsafe crap I do. And I guess the other flip side of that is, more people watching, the more people think that the way I'm doing it is okay. You know, you guys gotta do all this stuff at your own risk. But I have learned a few good things too, you know. A couple guys have commented, you know, and saying, hey, don't ever do this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, sweet. Do you have to go in and clean all this stuff up? No, you don't really have to, but you know, now's as good a time as any to do it. So the one on the left is a 610 pitch, the one on the right is a 1014. So the one I just pulled off, that's got to be a 610. The 1014 I'll use for sheet metal and stuff like that, but 3/8 inch steel that I plan on cutting is thick enough. I'll have at least 2 teeth in, real close to 3 teeth on the 6th, which is, you know, close enough for me. I'm get kind of impatient running this thing and don't really want to wait for it. So there's a safe way to do this and a not so safe way. Check the internet for better ways to do that. There's a way. I've watched the guys. You take your hand like this and bend it around. Oh yeah. How about that? I don't know. That was probably out of the picture, wasn't it? So, got to stand back a little bit on that one, huh? And that's certainly not the best example there, but you look on YouTube and you'll find other examples of you step on the blade and then give it a twist. And I had my foot on it too far, but there we go. It's all wrapped up again. So where to grab it to undo it, I'm not exactly sure. Close enough. Probably could have waited to take that off till after the fact. What I'm looking for, oh, here's the weld. Oh, this is way nicer than the other one. Let's see here, where is it? So you can see on the back of the blade, it's even. There's no bump in it like there was on the other one. And where the teeth go together, you can't hardly tell. I like that. Good. I'll have to, who did I get this from? I got this from, these guys. Yeah, sawblade.com. They were one of the cheapest ones I could find, and they're bimetal. I can come up with the part numbers and stuff like that later if somebody really wants them. Let's go put it back on. So obviously, when you're putting it back on, make sure that the teeth on the right-hand side here go down. Now, this blade may just be a hair shorter than the other one. Oh, I'm over the lip here. That's where I'm losing. There we go. There's a flange on the backside of each roller here to keep it from going off the backside. You don't really want it running up against that hard, but you know, when you're tracking and stuff like that, it's just to help make sure that it can't go that way. So, in tensioning it, you know, I have no real advice other than the fact that this one has a mark where it gets to the green, and there's a lot of tension on it at that point. And I'm gonna manually run it around here so it seats in and settles a little bit. Oh, all right. I'll finish tightening it up when I can get to the other side and see where the mark is better. I like where that's sitting, so let's, the wire wheel here, if you noticed that before, that basically just rides against the blade, and it's just to help pluck out the teeth and keep the teeth clean. So it doesn't have to be up against there real tight, just basically touching it. And that's nice with aluminum. You know, steel doesn't typically plug up in it, but the softer metals, when you're cutting them, they definitely plug up in there. Okay, there's that. There's that. You know, I'm going to call that good. I'm going to let it warm up and stuff like that. I may tighten it a little later, but anytime I've ever read tensioning on these things, you know, most people are just like, oh, tighten as tight as you can get it. So, okay. I'll just plug it in and let it run around a little bit, see what it does. I should make sure the coolant's off. My wire wheel is rotating consistently. I think we're good. Oh. Let's see if it cuts any better than the other one. One thing I do like of this saw over the other one, got a quick release on the vise. When you clamp it down, it grabs in, okay? You back it out a little, it doesn't unlock. You back it out a turn, it lets loose. So, now, one of the drawbacks with hydraulics is every time you run it up like that, you go to let it back down, you gotta readjust your drop rate. Feed rate, whatever you want to call it. All right. Yeah, it certainly seemed faster.